All right, welcome back. Even during the break, of course, the conversation continues, and it's just us trying to figure out how we're navigating this tough economic times. And that, of course, is the question that we're asking you, and that is, how are you navigating this tough economic times, or how are you surviving? Because someone said, we're not even living us, we're just surviving. All right, so how are you surviving this tough economic times, given that the prices of basic commodities are, over the roof, and of course, it's not getting better anytime soon. And of course, again, like we said, if you're reading or if you've read today's paper, that is Daily Nation, you know what the front page says, all right? And of course, this is a study that was done, or a survey that was done by the Central Bank of Kenya. So how are you surviving is the question of the day. But a lot of people are saying, wait, what? Okay, wait. I think I lost. I'm reading something different. All right, but a lot of people are saying we're not surviving. We're not living. We are surviving. A lot of people are saying they are living below or within their means, and we're trying to figure out what exactly that is. Another, actually, Yasin says, me, I'm just living under my means. Okay, so what exactly have you? What are some of these sacrifices that you've had to make just to make sure that you are, again, surviving this harsh economic times? Someone else says food ni free kwa jela. Okay, you know what? Another one says through betting na nasema bado, bado wanafuata huko na tax. Okay, so it's like we're taxing everything and everyone. Okay, and everywhere is just being taxed. So we're not really surviving. And then another person says it's hand to mouth. Okay, and then someone says ati huwa natumia photos za ugali daily alafu nakunywa maji. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's that tough. All right. It says cost of living, this is Waboshe wa Aden, says cost of living has skyrocketed. Kila kitu iko juu tena 3%. Aki, okay, all right. And then someone else says, I was planning to marry this year, but due to this economic times, I will not dare. Okay. And then someone else says, just by the blood of Jesus. All right. That is how they are surviving this harsh economic times. And before we went on the break, George, you were saying, listen, yes, in as much as you'd want to have more salary, or for those ones who are self-employed or have businesses and have employed people, they're trying to figure out how you then balance, just to make sure that the business is surviving, but at the same time, you're able to pay your employers and also pay yourself, which becomes like a very tight balancing act that one has to do. So for businesses, thriving this time, right? What are some of the tidbits that you can give, especially for persons who are in business, just to make sure that they survive? But you were also talking about try and make sure that you have like a bit of a side hustle to help yourself.
Yeah. Thank you. If you'd allow me to complete on that.
Yes.
Because it first of all begins with an individual.
True.
Then it goes to a group, society, and the nation.
Yeah.
And I earlier on said that I'm a counseling psychologist. And in counseling, one of the things that we seek to do is to help a person to see things in a different perspective.
Okay.
And to be able to come up with coping mechanisms. And that's why I had begun by saying, sorry, that you need to justify why your salary should be increased.
Okay.
And if your employer is not able to increase your salary, then you need to look at, is there anything else I can do so that I increase my incomes?
All right.
The other point that I wanted, I would want our viewers to realize is that, like the nation has said here, hard times ahead. Times will never be easy.
Okay.
If you look at the history of any economy, prices have always gone up and they will never come down.
They'll never come down, yeah.
Something else that we must realize is that a character of any developed country is that the cost of living is also high.
Okay.
So the earlier we appreciate this, the better for us.
Okay.
Now, the question that we are looking at is how do you survive in this case? One of the things that I normally advise people is that you need to know your money.
Okay.
You need to know your money. Most of us do not know our money.
All right.
There are only two areas that people know about their money.
Okay.
One, how much they receive.
Okay.
Everyone knows.
Okay.
Number two, the fixed bills that they pay. That one they know. But these other bills, something like airtime, something like the food,
Okay.
something like transport, something like donations, they do not know.
Okay.
And these are the things that really make life to be very difficult.
All right.
So one of the things we want to advise people during this time, get to know your money. How do you know your money?
Yeah.
Develop a habit of writing down your money, budgeting.
Okay.
In financial counseling, we say when you ink it, when you ink, you think it.
Okay.
And when you think it, you know it.
Okay.
And when you know it,
When you know it.
control it. It goes like this.
Okay.
When you ink,
When you ink it.
that is writing.
Okay.
I think there is a process. Maybe I need to consult to see whether it's God who created that. Eh? When you ink, somehow it comes to your brain.
Okay.
And when it comes to your brain, you start thinking about it. When you start thinking about something, you get to know it. And when you get to know it, you are in a position to control it.
All right.
Let me give you a very simple example. If you know that I am after you and you do not want to meet me, when you see me using this street, you simply avoid
to
and
the
go to
other-
another street.
to the other
But
street,
if you
yeah.
did not know that I was after you,
Yeah.
you might find that you have actually brought yourself where I am.
True.
And that is where most of us are as far as our finances are concerned.
Okay.
We do not know our,
Our
money.
money.
And remember I said, money and emotions are a brother and a sister.
No, true. Yeah.
And that's why, and I'm sure Winnie and our viewers, you have ever experienced this.
Yeah.
At this point, you have a big amount of money, maybe 100,000 or even 20,000 or 5,000. Then within no time, the money is not there. And you feel bitter with yourself. Where has this money gone to?
Start asking
And
where
then
the
you sit
money
down
went
and you start counting. Here, it kind of happen. This one, and for sure you are able to reconcile and you
Yeah,
cool down.
yeah.
It generates that emotion.
Yeah.
Now, this emotion is coming because you did,
did
not
not know your
So
money.
we train
Okay.
people and we show them
Yeah.
how to budget, how to get to record their money. And
Okay.
unfortunately, people tell me, when you go through that, you are becoming stingy. It has nothing to being stingy.
Stingy,
It has all to do with being a good steward of your,
Of
money.
your money.
Because
Okay.
what makes the difference with me is not how much you receive,
Okay.
but how well you use.
You use
what
what
you
you have received.
Yes.
Let me tell you, when you say that we look so easy, but it takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of sacrifices as well. First of all, to understand your money and also knowing how to utilize your own money, such that in the event that things are happening, around, you're sort of able to account and say, you know what, hilienda hapa, without having those negative emotions and being bitter about it. But the fact is, how practical is this? And especially now, because a lot of people say, listen, I have a budget. I know it without even writing it. But now you're saying you have to ink it and then think it and then, all those things. So people would say, listen, I know I have to pay this much money. I know how much I spend on airtime. I know how much I spend on transport. I know all those things. But it just never seems to be enough. So this whole aspect about budgeting and how, we budget and making sure that we stick to a budget, but then you speak to other financial advisors and they tell you, no, do not budget, making sure you have a goal. It's just a lot, all right? So budgeting, picking up from what George is saying, you want to, okay, can we allow him?
Just finish kidogo
Okay,
before he comes
all
in,
right.
so that we don't lose that point. I appreciate it does not come easy. It's a habit.
Yeah.
It's a practice that you start with.
Yeah.
And when you are starting the first 1 month, 2, 3 months, you may not realize the benefits.
Okay.
But by and by, that's why you need a coach. You need someone who will guide you, a financial expert or a counselor. They guide you, and by you will make it.
Okay.
But you must start somewhere.
Yeah.
You must start. That is the key thing.
Even
If
that
you
coach
don't
needs
start,
you to
you will
pay
never
them.
make it. You must have the will, because
Yeah.
where there is a will,
There's a way. Okay, all right. Have a coach, but then the coach also expects you to pay them to help you with your finances. It's a lot.
Cost-benefit analysis.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. What do you have to say in terms of this whole budgeting versus goal setting every single month, so that then you are able to have a relationship with your money, like George is saying?
Well, budgeting is an old scientific method of managing your finances. Even
Okay.
governments,
Yeah.
like now this finance bill,
Yeah.
it started from the finance committee in parliament coming up with a budget.
Okay.
So they've come up with all the expenses that the country needs. And now they've tied our expenses and recurrent expenditure they've done a budget,
Okay.
which is now tied to the finance bill.
Finance bill. Yeah.
Equally, organizations, even like for example, where I work, Jijenge Credit, the main purpose of the finance department is to come up with the yearly budgets. And there are several types of budgets. There's zero-based budget. Or there are, well, the examples, the different types of budgets are many. But there's nobody that can survive or organization that can succeed
without a budget.
Without a clearly stipulated budget. So that it's like, it becomes a goalpost. The way there is a football pitch and there are four edges. So that you don't go out of that. Out of that, the ball should not go out of the pitch. So equally, your finances should not go overboard. It also applies at a personal level. When you're going to do shopping at the end of the month, walk into a supermarket with a list and an approximate or estimated cost of the items, so that you don't pick anything that is not in that list. That is not what is called, which my colleague here is saying, is personal discipline. It must start somewhere. Once you train yourself that you see, you walk into a supermarket, see very lucrative offers, and you fail to partake them, that is now where success begins.
Yes. All right. But even so, I mean, there's some people who will tell you, and they call in maybe, and they will tell you, listen, I have had a budget for a while, but then again, at some point, I've had to make adjustments to that budget just to make sure that then I do not go overboard. But still, it just doesn't seem to be enough. So is it that we're doing something wrong, or we're not adjusting the way we are supposed to adjust, or you know, what are some of these common mistakes that maybe we do, thinking that we're trying to help ourselves, we're trying to live within our means, but we're not?
Well, what needs to happen is this. Even in spite of coming up with that budget, there are other external factors that can affect your budget. For example, I've given you a simple expense like electricity. The current electricity bills are up by 64%. So if you're apportioning 1,000 shillings in your monthly budget for electricity, it means that 1,000 shillings is less by 67%. Because you might be consuming the same number of units in a month. But now the cost is
slightly higher now.
So the amount you're apportioning is still
not enough.
It's not enough.
So
there are two options to go about it. Either you reduce, you plan and put in place measures to reduce the cost of the number of units you're using, or from now your income, you apportion a slightly higher amount to cater for the cost of electricity.
And I like that example. Now, so let's use that example, and say, for example, I have 1,000 shillings, this is for electricity, maybe 5,000 shillings for, you know, to shop. And this is for like basic commodities. Forget the luxuries, because right now, I mean, we cannot even think about luxuries, right? So yes, so you allocate a certain amount of money for something, right? But like you're saying, things have gone higher. The price of electricity has gone higher. The price of basic commodities like unga, mafuta ya kupika, we're seeing inashuka kidogo, and then inapanda, and then inashuka. You know, it's a bit fluctuating. Sugar has gone higher. So, for example, if I had set like 5,000 shillings to shop for the basic commodities, you find that that is not even enough to afford me all these basics that I need. Unga, right? There's sugar, there is mafuta ya kupika, there is salt. Salt imepanda, did you know that?
For the first time.
Right? Exactly. So you see, like, all those things that you could have afford have gone higher, so you have to make adjustments in your budget. But now you're making adjustments in your budget, but still with the same salary, or for those ones who are, you know, self-employed, or, you know, it's the salary, the money that you're getting, it's still the same. It's not going higher. So that is where a lot of people are trying to understand. So then what else do I need to do? Because adjusting on this side, this other side is not working, right?
It's very simple. If, for example, you go to the supermarket, like I've noted, sugar has, one kg of sugar has gone to almost 480. That's
2 kgs. 2 kgs, yes.
So basically what it means is that you reduce now the quantity.
But I have a family of 5. If I buy 1 kg, it's not enough.
Now you need to bring in other factors. other motivational factors, like you take less sugar, your health gets better. Okay, John, what is still that analogy, right? You adjust your budget,
but still it is not enough, because these are the things, everything has gone higher, but the money that you're getting, like the income, you know, that gets into the house, it's still the same. Motivational ways, live healthier, walk. What do you have to say?
Let me say this.
Yeah.
We go to business schools.
Okay.
And we go to financial seminars.
Yeah.
And people come like to us in counseling psychology. Yeah? But there is one thing you never be taught by anyone.
Okay.
Discipline. What is calling discipline? You have to practice it. And when you practice, by and by, you improve. There's something we call Kaizen, gradual improvement.
All right.
So you start with 0, tomorrow you have 5%, by and by. Even in Kiswahili where they say, ukiona vinaelea, vimeundwa. So things don't just happen. Yeah. They have to be made.
Have to, yeah.
So there must be a starting point. I also wanted to talk about what you said, having a list, something in writing. I talk to many of my students and my clients, and they tell me, I have my budget in the head, soft copy. Yeah. Now that is dangerous. You need a hard copy, because I began by saying money and emotions are brother and sister. No, so when you walk to the supermarket and you have the money with you, and you find an offer, then you'll be forced to do impulse buying. Actually, we normally recommend that when you are going to the supermarket, go with a hard written list
of the things that
and don't go when the supermarket is congested.
Okay.
Look for times when it's not congested. And number 3, don't go shopping when you are hungry. When you are hungry, you are likely to engage in impulse buying. Now, there is what you are saying that I've made a budget. Yeah. But things have gone out of control. That's a fact. Because as my colleague has said, there will be things that you never foresaw. True. Maybe something like sickness has come, which was not budgeted. And you cannot say I will not spend because it was not budgeted.
Because not
you will have
in
to.
My budget.
One of the main purposes of a budget is that after you have done for example, a month. Personally, I do it for a month. Even right now, as we speak, I have it in the house. Okay. After 1 month, we sit down, or I sit down, and look at, did I overspend? Did I underspend? All right. Now that will give me a lesson. That lesson will help me move to the next month a better person. Okay. When we are counseling people there at the bazaar about relationships, one of the things that people hate to hear is to know. I don't want to get into a lot of details. Is to know of something. Okay. If you have not known,
they say what you don't know, what you
if you have not known, things are okay. But when you know, things cannot be the same. Even matters health. True. If you have not gone to the hospital and they have not told you about this, you are okay until they tell you. So the same happens with your money. When you get to know your money, you know how you are spending your money. Then things change. I was remembering the other day we were discussing with my wife, and from our budget, from our records, we realized we have spent this much on electricity. And we were asking ourselves, how comes 1 month this much has been used? And from there, you find that defense mechanisms are activated, and people now become more vigilant. Don't leave that bulb on. Make sure you switch that gadget
If we shower
off.
for 15 minutes, shower for 5.
That action, Winnie, is coming because there has been knowledge. So budget will not increase your money, but it will give you some lessons that will help you to navigate in a better way. Yes. And actually, let me say, the budget will help you to classify your items into 3. There is what we call the vitals. Vitals are things that you must spend money on. If you don't spend, your life stops. All right. Number 2, there is what we call desirables, or the essentials. These ones, they are good to have. If you don't spend money on, there will be inconveniences here and there. And then we have the desirables. Now the desirables are just the nice.
Oh wait, so the vitals, and then the second
one? There is the desire. There is the essentials and the desirables. VED. The vital, the essentials, and the desirables. So you must classify your life, your expenses that way, so that you know, when I get my money, the vitals are already catered for. Then from there you go to the essentials. Then the desirables zinakuja huku mwisho. And the desirables, they are things that you do not necessarily have to finance. At times, when it comes to donations, and at times when I talk about these, people misunderstand me. I'm a firm believer in giving. But you don't have to give to every dowry. You don't have to give to every burial.
Yeah.
You don't have to give to every birthday ceremony. There are things that if you do not contribute, they'll still go on anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you need to categorize them. But I'm
Okay.
not in any way saying that people should be stingy. I'm a firm believer that the hand that giveth is the hand that receiveth. But that does not give you permission to go giving to every Tom, Dick, and
Harry. Okay. Hey, I like that. I'm sure a lot of Coco Nyuma, they're clapping for you because it's true. This ratio and all those things. And I mean, it's good to help, but again, you don't have to every single
Everyone,
time.
yes.
Look at balance and see what you
need to
can and what
balance,
you
yes,
can't.
yes.
Okay, but then again, so very quickly, because we need to end the show, those people who are like, so now, nkona madeni, right? I am really trying to lipa this madeni and punguza the same way we're doing as a country, tunajaribu punguza madeni. But still, you know, it is not working. So in terms of then making sure that, yes, you live within your means, make sure that you adjust your budget just to make sure that, you know, you survive this harsh economic times, but also these debts, zenye accumulate over a period of times and just trying to reduce them. How do we do that without breaking an arm and a leg, or, you know, forfeiting this other essentials, not
The
desirables,
essentials.
yeah, the essentials, but at the same time making sure that this person is not on my neck every single time. Very quickly, what would you say in terms of then balancing, you know, all this, because you have to pay your debts, yeah?
Yes. Number one is debt consolidation.
Okay.
That means all the debts you have, you consolidate them into one.
Okay.
You can get all your circles, your friends' debts, your chama's debts, and all the small debts.
Okay.
Consolidate into one, because it is also paying. It draws a lot of energy to manage these debts, because you have Fuliza here. Tom is calling you.
Yes.
Your neighbor is calling you.
Yes.
Your chama is calling you. Your bank is calling you.
Yes.
So consolidate and have only one debt payment collection point.
Okay.
It is easy. It's manageable.
Okay.
Then number two, restructure the debt.
All right.
Once you consolidate and maybe the installments are more than your income, walk to your bank, visit your bank or your financer or your lender and request them to restructure the facility.
Okay.
Restructuring means you can, if you're paying 100,000, the installment is 100,000 and your income has reduced, you can only afford 50,000, extend the period.
Okay.
So that now 50,000 can service the facility over a long period of time. Of course, there will be the cost of interest, because the longer debt,
Yeah.
the higher
the higher the interest,
interest,
yes. Yeah. Okay.
and therefore the third one is do what the country is doing.
Okay.
Don't borrow, pay all the debts that you have.
Okay. Fast.
Yeah.
And then think
To clear
about
the
it
debts.
later.
Yeah. It's a painful process,
Yeah.
but it is the best.
Yeah, because there's some people who are, I have borrowed George, right?
Yes.
So I borrow you, nilipe George,
Yes.
and then I borrow someone else, pay you, you know,
Yes.
and all those
Yeah.
things, because they say it is not enough. But again, just see what you can and try and do like a balancing act. All right. George, you want to have the last word and just say, because again, like you said, budget, make sure that, you know, balance, do a bit of balancing act, understand your needs versus necessities in 10 seconds for those people, especially those ones who, you know, their money comes in every single day and it's a bit tough to, you know, like balance and have a budget and do all those things. What would you say? Literally 5 seconds.
Explore other ways that can help you reduce your expenses. As my colleague had started by saying, there are numerous ways. For example, lunch costs. If you spend 300 shillings on lunch, why can't you carry food from home?
Okay.
You save 300 shillings. 300 for 5 days, if you come to town 5 days, that is 1,500.
Yeah.
In a month, that is 6,000.
Yeah.
6,000 maybe could be enough to pay your house gas,
True.
could be enough to pay electricity, could be enough to pay gas, and so on.
Yeah.
Look at transport, how you move around with transport.
Yeah.
Check whether you can reduce it.
Yeah.
Look at the electricity in your house. There are numerous ways in which you can reduce your cost. But those are more in the short run.
Okay.
But in the long run, look at how you can increase
The
your
income. I see that. I see that.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, George. Because I hustle lapa kidogo, 500 extra, 200 extra,
And in case you
1,000
have
of
issues, you
extra.
consult.
Okay. Consult George. All right. George Kimani, tax consultant, as well as a financial expert, as well as Peter Macharia, financial expert from Jijenge Credit. We say thank you, gentlemen, for coming by today. Such a fun, interesting conversation that also, you know, is an eye-opener as well. Philip Keboy on Twitter says, please, this economy is so hard. Even planning for it is not easy. Some of us receive the pay slip at the end of the month, but even buying a piece of new cloth has become hard. hard. So again, just see ways that you can navigate, all right? But I'm sure you've learned a lot from today's conversation. Have yourselves a lovely day ahead. I'll see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place, right here on Your World. But until then, stay safe and God bless. Goodbye.